Alright, welcome back. So today, I actually found a snowblower. This one seems to run pretty much on half choke. I know the carb is kind of dirty because when you try to take it off of basically running it from half choke, it seems to be okay. The cable broke on it. It obviously needs a new cable here, but you know, with it being so close to the end of the season, I don't know if I'm going to fix it this year or I might just list this one as a parts machine for somebody else to fix, or if they have one of these. These are fairly common. This is probably like the second one I've ever seen. It's a powered by Tecumseh Craftsman 3.8 with a 21-inch path width. Fairly new paddles on it. I mean, it doesn't really have it where it's worn out. You can see the paddles are not really that bad. So this thing, you can obviously tell, it didn't have much runtime. The cable snapped on it. The guy must have ran it somehow for the last couple years, we didn't really have much snow. You really could obviously just take this cable, tighten it more if you really didn't want to get another cable, but eventually it's starting to fray. As you can see, it's rusting, so that's pretty much why it was tossed to the curb. But what I wanted to actually try is, since it does run on half choke, I wanted to try possibly running some mechanic in a bottle. Now, in these kind of situations, obviously if it didn't start, it wouldn't have ran. But I don't know how old this fuel is, because when I found it right now, not long ago here, it did have a little bit of fuel in it. It's not much. It's probably about a quarter of the tank. What I want to do is I'm going to actually run some mechanic in a bottle, see if it corrects a little bit of it. I know it's completely, I don't even know if it's completely clogged inside of it, but just for a test purposes, this would be a good test for it. So essentially what I'm going to do, I'll add a little bit of mechanic in a bottle, shake it up. And what I'll do is I'll run it. We'll have it I'll have it on half choke. And we'll see just if it helps it. I'll let it run for about 5-10 minutes. We'll see how it performs afterwards. If it'll at least run on half choke. Because it's supposed to help. Obviously I don't want to use too much of this. I'll put in a few driplets in here. Once again, I'm not trying to put too much in here, because if it needs a whole clean, they actually have amounts where you want to put in ounces here, or it'll actually list how much you should be doing in here with the directions. I'm just going to squirt a little bit in here, and then it says, you know, let it run for at least 15 minutes. So I'll try to let it run for like at least 10. We'll see what happens with it. And then I'll just add a little top-up fuel, just a little bit, just to keep it running. Alright, just a little bit of fuel in there, just to mix whatever I put in there with it. I put about an ounce, maybe a little bit less. I usually use a higher octane fuel. I know people will be like, well, I use 87. Well, I've had issues in the past with 87. So I usually will run a little bit slightly higher octane, plus with the Echo stuff. If I want to pre-mix it, it usually goes 89 and up. So in that gallon, I actually have premium fuel. Of course, if you have no ethanol in your area, it's best to use that kind of fuel. I unfortunately don't. In the state of Illinois, I can't locally find it unless I bought it in the cans, and I'd rather just mix my own fuel, to be honest with you, and just buy it from the pump. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll basically just turn it on. I'll put it to half choke. We'll see if it fires up. It did run a split second ago when I was just testing it, so I'll let it run. Maybe even go full choke. Give it like a primer too. It's not that cold today. It's roughly about 55, almost 60, so it's a nice winter day. I'll start it up. Let it run for about a minute. I'll go half now. So as you can see, when I had it actually off of choke, it basically would kill the motor. When I had it on half, it would run, but it would run really bad on half. So actually after running this, because I just waiting here, it basically did say for a running engine, let it run for 15 minutes with a little bit in the fuel. So it says 1 to 2 ounces of mechanic in a bottle. And so I do have to say I'm actually surprised that this thing would run off of choke, off of the full choke, because it was only running like halfway decent on half, and it seemed like after I got it off half, for running it about 10 or so minutes on a half choke, that it actually started clearing up a little bit better. It sounded a little bit better as it went along. Now I'm not one for products or gimmicks, you know. This is just something I wanted to try, because occasionally I do run into these machines like this, for example, where it runs, but it just needs a little bit of help. I mean, on the age of it, whatnot, you know, sometimes people don't want to mess with things. So I can honestly say that this was actually surprising. It actually did help. I mean, obviously, if it was completely clogged inside and it didn't start at all, obviously pouring this in probably wouldn't do much good. But if you've got a engine that runs halfway, or it starts and runs but it's only on choke, I mean, for something like this, it's not really that. It wasn't that expensive. I think I paid like $5-6 for it, just to try it out, just because I always see all the gimmicks out there, and I can honestly say that Mechanic in a Bottle did actually do a fairly good job. You could hear it throughout the whole video. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions on it, I mean, I have no problem to answer. I mean, like I said, these machines, when they get older, it's, you know, you're drawing a thin line between how much you really want to repair and how much you want to really keep going with these machines. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was like kind of a documented one. I didn't really do much, which is great. You know, I like finding stuff where I don't have to do much work, if anything. The cable's broke, so obviously the auger, it does work. It just needs a new cable, but I think I'm gonna leave it right now as is. I mean, the season's getting lower. I mean, pretty much all the snow is gone. So yeah, interesting video nonetheless. I know that sometimes people have questions about these, so I can honestly say there's at least a video on this now that I created that, you know, somebody, if they had any questions on it, they could see how the process of it actually cleaning it out throughout the engine would work. So if you guys have any questions, comment, and concerns, let me know about it. I'd like to hear all your different types of things. Maybe there's another product that even works better than this. I'd love to try it out, or at least know what it is to try it out. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.